Here we have verse 13 of the 11th chapter of the Gospel of John. Lazarus is dead. Jesus knows it. The disciples, however, misunderstand what Jesus says when he says he's sleeping, because, of course, Jesus is using a standard euphemism for death, namely sleeping, whereas the disciples thought he really was sleeping, and that if that was the case, that might turn out to be therapeutic. Well, that point is being clarified now as we reach this 13th verse. It starts ereke. This is from ereo, contract verb. It means to say or to speak. It's quite unusual in the New Testament. There are other words used much more commonly, but for some reason John uses this here to describe the situation, maybe for stylistic purposes, but one way or another, this is the third person singular pluperfect. Active indicative, so this is usually translated pluperfect will include the English word had, and so we're going to say Jesus had spoken, Jesus had said these things. Then peri, preposition takes the genitive, it means concerning. Peri to thanatu, concerning the death. This masculine genitive singular noun concerning the death, autu, the possessive pronoun, masculine singular genitive, referring of course to Lazarus. So Jesus had spoken concerning the death of him, the death of Lazarus. Akenoi, referring to the disciples, the demonstrative pronoun for that or those, here the plural, masculine singular nominative, those, death. The postpositive conjunction, so but those men, it's used substantively here, so those, the disciples, of course, in view. Edoxan, from dokeo, which means to think, and this is the third person plural, aorist active indicative, so those thought. Hoti means that or because, depending on context, here it means that, so those thought that. Peri, same as we have there, peri, again with the genitive, so concerning or about. Tes, the genitive feminine singular article, the, and then koimeseos. This is from koimao. We've seen it earlier. It means to sleep. This is the noun form of that, so concerning the sleep is the idea. And then interestingly, again, the genitive masculine singular article, the sleep of hupno. And this is the word that means sleep as well. The sleep of sleep would be the idea of it, but this word, from which we get the word hypnosis, hypnu, is a word that means more the appearance of sleep. So one is kind of the state of sleep, as if being in a condition of sleep. This is more what you see, and it appears to be that you're hupno, you're under, in other words. And that is the way this is used to explain what's going on. And then lege, third person singular, present active indicative, he says, or he is speaking, or was speaking. So, but those thought that concerning the state of sleeping under the condition of being in sleep, he was speaking. And so obviously they didn't quite comprehend what Jesus was talking about. They thought he was speaking of mere sleeping, when in fact Jesus had in mind the fact that he was in a state of thanatos, he was in a state of death. And that's going to be clarified now, of course, as we press on in the narrative.